Hello, welcome back to my channel. I was going to film a completely different video for you guys this week, but I actually have a couple of weddings coming up in the next couple of weeks, and I just thought it is definitely wedding season here in New Zealand. It's summer, and I thought this would be the perfect time to share with you guys the sorts of outfits that I think are appropriate as a wedding guest. So that is what we're going to be doing today. Obviously I know different cultures have different expectations for what you're going to wear to a wedding, just different countries. So this may not be what's expected at everyone's wedding, but it's a pretty safe guide, especially if you live here in New Zealand and you've got a bunch of summer weddings coming up. So what I'll do is I'll share some guidelines first, and then in the second half of the video I'll show you what some of these outfits are that I've picked out from my wardrobe. So I'll leave a timestamp here if you just want to skip to the outfits. Okay, so tip number one is do not wear black or white. I mean, they can be part of your outfit, but don't wear like a fully black dress or a fully white dress. And the reason for this is that black is associated with funerals. You don't want to look like you're going to a funeral when you're going to a wedding. And white is the bride's color, so you don't want to be stealing her thunder. You don't want to look like you might perhaps be the bride, so just steer clear of all white. For that matter, don't wear a dress that's like almost white. Don't wear cream or beige or ivory, you know, anything that looks like it might be white or it might be the bride's color. Don't wear it. Tip number two, to an extent, is personal preference, but in my opinion the most fail-safe item to wear is a dress. Typically a dress is what you'll see women in at a wedding. The style of the dress can vary a lot, but you will pretty much see everyone in a dress. I think the dresses that come down past your knees are the most elegant, and typically you want to look quite elegant and nice if you're going to a wedding, so I would go with a midi or a maxi length dress. But if you don't like longer dresses, you can also go with a knee length one. I just wouldn't go with a super short dress. And if you hate dresses, then a jumpsuit is another really good option, but hopefully one that looks quite elegant so that you're still in keeping with the style and the aesthetic. Tip number three, I think, is quite important, and it is you should not be able to see your undergarments. I typically live by this rule anyway, but I think it's especially important when you're going to an event like a wedding, especially because you know there's going to be lots of photos. So if your bra strap is showing or you can see your bright red underwear through your dress, then that is going to be in the photos for everyone to see forever. So for your underwear, either go for a nude that's going to be fairly invisible under most clothes, or you can match it to the color of the outfit. If your dress is quite tight-fitting, you might need to wear seamless underwear or even a thong so that you can't see the lines. And depending on the style of your dress, you might need to wear a strapless bra so that you can't see the straps poking out at the top, or even no bra. But I would avoid showing too much cleavage. A little bit of cleavage is okay, obviously, but it is a wedding, it's not the club. Tip number four is about footwear. Generally, women wear heels to a wedding. I don't think that you have to, but if you want to be in keeping with the general wedding aesthetic, then a pair of heels is a good bet. You want the color of your heels to complement the dress or the jumpsuit that you're wearing on the day. Generally, nude heels are fail-safe, and that is always what I've worn to weddings in the past. Unfortunately, I don't have a pair of nude heels anymore because they were falling apart after the last time I wore them. But what I do have is a pair of brown heels, and I think that these will take the place of the nude heels quite nicely because they're still a neutral color that's going to go with pretty much everything that a nude pair of heels would go with. So if you have brown heels in your wardrobe but not nude, then brown should work just the same. I do also have these yellow heels that I would wear with a couple of these dresses that I'm going to show you later on. But if you're going to go with a color, you just need to make sure that it works really well with the dress and it complements it. Don't just chuck in a random color for the sake of it. If you don't have heels or you really don't want to wear heels, then you can wear flats, but they need to be nice looking flats. Ballet shoes, loafers, nice looking sandals, those would all be great, but I wouldn't wear your flip-flops to a wedding, or trainers for that matter. Tip number five is about what to do if you think it's going to get a little bit chilly at the wedding, and I think the easiest thing and the thing that most people are going to have in their wardrobes already is going to be a blazer. I would go with a neutral colored blazer so that you can be sure that it'll match with any outfit you choose for the day. I definitely think a blazer is the classy way to go. It's going to look a lot more chic than a jumper or a denim jacket. So with your blazer, I would just pop it over your shoulders rather than actually wearing it properly. I know that that's like the social media thing to do and that it's so impractical, but honestly, when else are you going to do it? A wedding is the perfect time to wear a blazer in an impractical way, because when else are you going to not need your arms for ages? So yeah, I would just pop it over your shoulders, and then it means when it's photo time or you need to take it off, it's really quick and easy just to slip off your shoulders and there you are in your dress again. So those are all of my main tips, but I do want to add a couple of extra things here. Number one, if the wedding invite says that there's some sort of a theme, like a color theme, for example, it says wear neutrals, then don't rock a bright dress like this. I mean, I feel like that's super obvious and no one would do that, but just something to keep in mind. And number 2 is that if you've been invited to a wedding and the people want you at their wedding, then they're probably going to let you in no matter what you're wearing. So if you don't have an appropriate dress or you don't have the right shoes, I wouldn't stress about it too much. I would not go out and buy something that you're only going to wear for this one wedding and never again. I would just choose something that looks nice from your wardrobe, and they're gonna let you in because they want you there, and that's why you've been invited. So now that I've talked you through my tips, I'm going to show you a few things that I've pulled out from my wardrobe that I would be happy to wear to anyone's wedding. These are all things that I wear anyway. They're not in my wardrobe specially waiting for a wedding. A couple of them are more suitable for events rather than everyday wear, but they're definitely things that I've worn previously and on days that are not weddings. First up is a dress that I have actually worn to a wedding previously, and I'm pretty sure this is going to be the one that I'm wearing to the wedding I'm going to this weekend. So the base color of this dress is actually cream, which I know kind of goes against my very first rule of don't wear a color that's like white, but I feel like it has enough of a pattern that you're not going to mistake me for the bride. You know, like no one's going to be like, oh, there's the bride in her white dress. No, because there's a big floral print on it. And with the wedding that I did wear this to, I actually sent a photo of the dress to the bride's mum, and I was like, do you think she'll be okay with me wearing this at the wedding? I didn't want to send it to the bride because, you know, everyone's going to be polite and they're going to say yes, but I assumed that her mum was going to be brutally honest, and her mum said that it was fine. So this dress obviously has no sleeves, so your arms are on show, but it does have a nice modest neckline. It also has a lining all the way through, so it's not see-through at all. So in my opinion, this is just an absolute winner as a wedding guest dress. This next dress is also in a neutral color palette, so this one I would probably wear if it were a wedding in a cooler season, because this one has long sleeves. It also has quite a high neckline because it also has this little bow that does up around the neck, and again midi length, so this one just has a little bit more coverage. So if it were like a cloudy day or perhaps an autumn wedding, then I would be more inclined to reach for this one. In summer I'm certainly not going to be wearing this to a wedding because it would be far too hot. But again, this dress is super classy. The color palette, the design and the style of it are very elegant and definitely something that would look very chic at a wedding. This next dress is a color bomb. So this obviously is the one that I showed as an example of what not to wear if you've been asked to wear neutrals. But if you're going to a wedding of people that you know love a bit of color, then I would rock this. This is my other contender for this weekend's wedding. So this one actually is a off-the-shoulder dress, so it has no straps at all, and then it also has this little V cut out at the front. So this is one where you would need to be, or I need to be careful that my bra is not showing. I definitely cannot wear a regular bra with this. I either have to go strapless or no bra at all, but it is fully lined, which means it doesn't matter about the color of underwear that I'm wearing, you won't be able to see it. And then it also has these little like half sleeves, so there's definitely modesty elsewhere in the dress. It's also another midi length dress, a bit of cleavage, but aside from that, very modest. Now this next dress is not black, it's actually a dark navy. However, I would be very careful wearing this to a wedding because I know that it looks kind of like it's black. So to be honest, I probably won't be wearing this to a wedding just because it is too close to black for my liking. I wanted to show it to you because I think if it were in any other color, it would be very suitable for a wedding. But just not in this color. So the reason I think this would be lovely for a wedding, especially a summer wedding, is firstly the material. It is actually like a silky material, which I think is so beautiful to wear to a wedding. And it's literally like a little sundress, perfect for summer. It's got these tiny little straps. It's literally just started pouring with rain. I'm sorry if you can hear that. And it also has these beautiful tiers down towards the bottom, and it's just flowy and gorgeous. And when I bought this, they did also have it in more of like a rust color, which I would wear to a wedding if I'd picked that one instead. So that's a really lovely one, but just something to keep in mind if you do have a dress that's a very dark navy or another very dark color that's almost black, I would be very careful because it will just kind of look black. This is the final dress that I'm going to share with you today. This one I actually wore to a hens party that I went to last weekend. So that's another tip if you have hens parties to go to you, a lot of these outfits will work for that as well. In fact, a hen's party would be the perfect time to wear your almost black dresses. Hen's parties have slightly more relaxed rules, and depending what you're doing, you might still want to wear a really nice dress, but not the one that you have saved for the actual wedding. So anyway, yes, I wore this to the hen's party. This one is actually a linen dress, so this is perfect for staying cool when it's really hot in summer. If you've got like an outdoorsy garden type of wedding, then this would be the perfect thing to wear to that. It's got a bit of a square neckline, but it actually doesn't come down very low at all, so there's barely any cleavage. It has these little shoulder sleeves, and then it buttons all the way down, so I actually unbutton it to about mid-thigh, which means it has a bit more movement, looks really stylish while also being very chic. And then of course the blazer that I would be happy to pop on over any of these dresses. If I had a plain coloured blazer, I would probably choose that instead, but this is the one that I have, and it's checked, but it is just neutral colours in the check, so there's white, grey, black, and brown. So I know that this is going to pair very easily over any of my dresses because all of the colours are very neutral. It is oversized. This is a size 14, and I think that that's really cute even for a wedding. It might even kind of look like your partner has given you their blazer, which is such a cute look. And there we have it. Those are my tips for choosing your outfit as a wedding guest. I hope you have enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments if you do have any weddings coming up, and thank you so much for watching. I will see you next time. Bye!